Hello and welcome to Books of Blood. My name is John, and today we're going to be talking about 50 years of horror fiction and the year 1988. So, the first book we've got coming up for 1988 is Haunted, and this is by James Herbert, and it is the first book in the what is called the Ash Trilogy. The second one is called The Ghost of Sleeth. I've read that one, loved it. I read Haunted, loved it. And the third one is called Ash, and I believe that was James Herbert's final novel before his passing. Alright, anyway, we're talking about Haunted here. 3 nights of terror at the house called Edbrook. 3 nights in which David Ash, there to investigate a haunting, will be victim of horrifying and maleficent games. 3 nights in which he will face the blood-chilling enigma of his own past. 3 nights before Edbrook's dreadful secret will be revealed and the true nightmare will begin. And that is Haunted, and that is by James Herbert. Okay, next we have Night Things. And this particular Night Things, I've already talked about a book called Night Things in another video, which I think that Night Things was by Thomas Monteleone. This particular Night Things is by Michael Talbot. Built by a madwoman during the Victorian era, Lake House is a 160-room mansion in the Adirondacks with stairways that lead nowhere, bizarre rooms designed to distort the senses, endless series of maze-like halls, and a century-long history of violent deaths. Lauren Montgomery, her son Garrett, and her new rock star husband, Stephen Ransom, have just arrived at Lake House, anticipating a long and relaxing summer. But what they don't know is that their rental home is actually a labyrinthine puzzle at whose center lurks something unspeakably evil. An inventive and chilling haunted house story in the vein of Mark Z. Danielewski's House of Leaves, Michael Talbot's Night Things is a page-turning mixture of horror and fantasy from the author of The Delicate Dependency. And that is Night Things by Michael Talbot. Okay, next we have Ghouls, and this is by Edward Lee. Dark Town. The murders were only the beginning. No one knew what went on in the sullen, dark house on the hill, but town cop Kurt Morris intended to find out. The sleepy town of Taylorsville, Maryland was being stalked by an unimaginable evil. It had become the haunting ground for horrors too grisly to be described. Young girls had vanished without a trace. Graves had been opened, corpses unearthed and carried away. Quiet moonlight-lit nights gave way to a mindless slaughter and to the sounds of hysterical screams. Dark horizons. Time was running out. How many more would be dragged off into an endless night, and for what hideous purpose? Fear led to wild speculation about psychopaths, crazed animals, vampires, and werewolves. But Kurt knew better. Deep in the fog-shrouded woods, he had seen the nightmare figures, and the truth was much, much worse. Ghouls, a novel of unrelenting horror and the tradition of Dean Koontz. That is Ghouls. That's by Edward Lee. Okay, next we have got The Scream. And this is by John Skip and Craig Spector. Rock and roll. Hell. 2 great tastes that taste great together. Long before Elvis gyrated on The Sullivan Show or the Beatles toiled the smoky red light bars of Hamburg, music has been sowing the seeds of liberation or damnation. With each new generation, the edge of rebellion pushed farther. Rhythms quickened, volume increased, lyrics coarsened. The rules continued to be broken until it seemed that there were no rules at all. And as waves of teens cranked it up and poured it on, parents built walls of accusation to explain their offspring's seeming corruption. Sex and drugs, demon worship, and violence are the effect. Music is the cause, or so the self-styled guardians of morality would have us believe. Meet the Scream, just your average everyday mega cult band. Their music is otherworldly. Their words are disturbing. Their message is unholy. Their fans are legion, and they're not kidding. They're killing themselves, each other, everyone. Their gospel screams from the lips of babes. Their backbeat has a body count, and their encore is just the warm-up act to madness beyond belief. It emerged from a war-torn jungle where insanity was just another word for survival. It arrived in America with an insatiable lust for power and the means to fulfill it. In the amplified roar of arena applause, there beats the heart of absolute darkness. That is The Scream. That is by John Skip and Craig Spector. All right. Next up, and last but not least, we've got Black Ambrosia, and this is by Elizabeth Engstrom. Angelina is a killer. You never know what to look at her until you look into her eyes. Angelina doesn't kill out of hatred or fear. She kills out of love, bringing solace to her victims, guided by the seductive voice that speaks only to her. Angelina offers you eternal peace at the cost of your soul. And that is Black Ambrosia, and that is by Elizabeth Engstrom. I read Black Ambrosia. It was one of the paperbacks from hell that was re-released, and yeah, I loved it. I thought it was really good. Awesome book. Okay, so that is going to do it for 1988. So until next time, take care and stay scared. Bye-bye.